Life shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning to you, wherever you are in the world today. Welcome to episode 5 of the Get Rich podcast series. And I know a lot of people will have come to this podcast series thinking, right, okay, this means that I only have to do this and this and this, and then I'm a multimillionaire. Get real. That's not how it occurs. Getting rich is about the small things. It's about taking control of your money. And in this podcast series, what we're really talking about is getting control of yourself. Changing your mindset, changing how you think about money. Because I know, hand on heart, that most people would have said at some time in their lives, if I could just earn a bit more money, then everything would be all right. Just a bit more. Not millions, not winning the lottery, just enough to feel comfortable, just enough to stop worrying, and just enough to sort of breathe a little easier at the end of the month. Now, I remember thinking that myself years ago, and I used to sit there looking at my bank account, doing that little sort of mental juggling act that we all do. If I move that there and that bill comes out next week, and maybe I don't go out this weekend, and I remember sort of convincing myself that the problem was simple. I just needed more money coming in. But it's not true. Here's the strange thing. As time went on and I did start earning more money, something didn't quite add up because life didn't suddenly become easier. In fact, in many ways, it stayed exactly the same. And that's the bit that messes with most people's head, because you've been told and you've been sold this idea that your whole life will be easier when you start earning more. If you work harder and you climb higher up the ladder and you get that raise, you just push for more and more and more, then you're going to be all right. But yet there's people right now earning far more than you who are still stressed about money. They're still feeling trapped and they're still wondering where it's all gone. And I remember I worked in a bank many, many years ago, and people were coming in that were earning as much in a month as I was in a year, and they was always overdrawn. And I used to think, how the hell can you be overdrawn when you've got that much money coming in? Because what it means is the problem isn't the amount of money, it's what you're doing with it. Simple as that. It's simple as it's down to you if you ever get rich. And I'm sorry I've got to say that. And I'm sorry that, as I say, most people will have come to this podcast series thinking that they're just going to do this and that and they're going to be multimillionaires. That's never going to occur unless you change. And of course, we've talked about that on other episodes in this series. Now, let me tell you what I started to notice. But every time my income went up, even just a little bit, something else quietly crept in alongside it, my lifestyle. Not in a big dramatic way, not overnight, just sort of slowly, subtly. We would just have sort of slightly nicer meals than we used to have. If we went to hotels, we would go for a nicer hotel room, just an upgrade here and there. Something that our finances still felt manageable. And I used to justify it with, well, I can afford it now. Why not? I deserve it. And that right there is where most people get stuck, because what feels like progress is actually just a shift sideways. You're earning more, yeah, but you're not moving forward. You're not getting to the point when your capital is working for you so that your life becomes easier. When your money is working harder than you have to do, your life becomes easier. And this is where it all starts to sort of click into place, because you realize there's only really 3 ways people deal with money. And once you see this, you'll start spotting it everywhere. There are people who focus on earning. They're always chasing the next opportunity, the next pay rise, the next bit of income. And there's nothing wrong with that. but it's never enough on its own. Then there's the spenders, and again, sort of no judgment, if it's your money, spend it on what you want, but that's not what this series is about. Rewarding yourself, treating yourself, living for now, because life's short and I could be dead tomorrow. But then there's a third group. This is the much quieter group. This isn't the one that's screaming out on Instagram and TikTok and all those social media platforms. These are the builders. The financial builders. These are the people who do something different. They don't just earn money and they don't just spend money, but they actually use money. Every pound that comes into their life isn't just there to disappear. It's there to do a job. It's there to create something. It's there to build something of value, to move them forward, even if it's just a tiny step at a time. And this is where everything changed for me. This was the moment where everything changed, because it was when I realised I didn't have to earn more. I didn't have to find some magic opportunity, and I didn't have to ask, am I ever going to win the lottery or whatever. I've just started asking, what am I actually doing with the money I've already got? Am I making that pound bring me back £2? And just that simple shift, that's where my control comes from. And that's the whole message of this podcast series. Instead of using your money, instead of spending your money, make your money work for you. Now, let me give you a really simple example. 2 people both end up with an extra 500 quid at the end of the month, okay? £500 or $500, whatever. Now, the first person, they feel good about it. They've had a win. They've worked hard. They deserve it. So they upgrade. They maybe treat themselves. They maybe go away for a nice weekend away. And within a few weeks or a few days, really, it's gone. Now, the second person, they pause. Not forever, not overthinking it, just long enough to ask a different question. And this question is, how can this £500 create something for me that will multiply it? And maybe they don't get it right the first time. Maybe something happens and they try a course or whatever online, but it doesn't actually work. Maybe they try something small, but the mindset has shifted. The direction has changed. Same money, completely different future. And this is why I wanted to do this episode in the middle of this series, because if you don't get this bit right, nothing else we talk about in this series will truly land. You'll still be thinking that the answer is out there for you. It's just the more, in a better job, in more hours, in something external. But it's not. It's in how you think about your money. It's in how you act. It's in the decisions you make when nobody's watching. That's why no one's screaming about this on Instagram. Nobody's, they're not saying, but this is the real nuts and bolts. Your nan would have said this, or somebody would have said it to you. If you look after the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves. Now, if you take care of the pounds, the fivers will take care of themselves. You multiply it by making that conscious decision. Now, this doesn't mean that at this point you shouldn't earn more. Of course you should. If you've got any opportunities to earn more, then brilliant. But earning more without control, it's just like pouring water into a bucket full of holes. You just, no matter how much you pour in, it never fills up. Okay? So, let me ask you a question. And I really want you to think about this. If your income doubled tomorrow, would your life genuinely change long term, forever? Or maybe if you're really honest with yourself, would things change for a little bit and then slowly drift back to exactly where they are now? You might have a better car, you might have a better apartment or whatever. It's totally up to you. But we're talking about getting rich and living free. Being away from the stresses of life, being able to do things on a Tuesday when they're so much cheaper than anybody else can do them because you just got the opportunity of time. You've got that freedom of life. So where would your answer be? If it doubled tomorrow, your income, would your life genuinely change long term? Would you make that additional money work for you, or would you just go on a nice spending spree and allow yourself to enjoy that money? Because this is the real shift we're making together, okay? This is what this series is all about. We're not chasing money. Never said that through any episode. We're not just reacting to life. We're building something bit by bit, dot by dot, decision by decision. We're becoming people who don't just earn, but they create. So, what I want you to do from today, as in all the examples, they're not hard, nothing complicated, nothing overwhelming, just honest reflection and small control. Look at your habits and recognize that earning more won't fix the poor habits on its own. If you suddenly find yourself got £30 in your pocket because you've gone to a jacket that you haven't worn for ages, and that £30 there, it's like a quick win. Do you just go, oh, brilliant, I'll spend that? Or do you say, I'm going to use that? I didn't know that £30 was in there. It might have been my money anyway, but suddenly it's addition. Would I use that to make more money? Look back at the times your income increased and what actually changed in your spending. Were you suddenly going on nicer holidays? Were you spending more money on the kids' birthday presents, whatever? And then start looking at your lifestyle, where it is now, and see what you would like to hold in place, even if more money comes in. And start seeing money as a tool, not just something to enjoy. You've got to change your thinking. You've got to start thinking like someone who builds wealth, not just spends when it comes in. Because this right here, this is where the game changes. Not when you earn more. I keep on saying this. It's not when you earn more, but when you start becoming someone who knows what to do with your money. Are you investing it? Are you putting it into a non-tax paying ISA? Are you building property? Are you what are you doing with that money to make that money work for you so you don't have to? Big questions. Okay, so thanks for listening to Join Up Dots as always. If this one made you stop and think, even just for a moment, as always, share it with someone else who needs to hear it as well. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review for the podcast, because every single one helps us reach more people and keep spreading this message that the dots join up. It's the small things that make a difference. So until next time, keep joining up those dots, and I'll see you again soon in the next episode as we teach you how to get rich and live free. There's no other way. Until next time, we'll see you again. Look after yourselves. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
Waking up your